Hello guys, this video gets down to the basics of how to drive a 4x4 vehicle. This video will help anyone who is just getting into off-roading, be it recreational or lifestyle 4-wheel driving, or needs 4x4 in their line of work, or to anyone who has got a 4-wheel drive and is not sure how to use it to its full potential. I'll cover the basic principles of what and how a 4x4 system works, and I will show how and why is it different from a normal car, and then we'll see how to drive any 4x4 vehicle. We will use this Jeep. It's a 4x4 Force Gurkha BS6 model. The advantage of demonstrating the 4-wheel drive system in this particular truck is that the mechanicals are pure and simple. So it's very easy to understand what each part does and how it works. But the principles of what I'm showing today can be readily extended to any other 4x4 vehicle easily, be it a Thar or an Isuzu V-Cross or even a Fortuner. On the other hand, a truck with simple mechanicals like the Gurkha requires more driver input, thereby also giving more precise control to the driver. Higher up the chain, in more expensive vehicles, complex electronics get involved and cut in automatically to aid the driver. As an extension of this logic, simpler the system, easier it is to understand and easier it is to repair. And that's why we'll use the Gurkha to understand 4x4. I intend to keep this video bare bones basic, so pardon me if it starts off way below your takeoff level. It's a basic off-roading 101 kind of instructional video. The first question is, what is 4x2? Like, take any car you see on the road, it's got 4 wheels. Normally, the engine drives 2 of those wheels. In most cases, the front wheels. In other cases, the rear wheels. So out of 4 wheels, 2 wheels are being powered by the engine. So it's a 4x2. Depending on which set of wheels receive the engine power, it is called front wheel drive. Example, the Mahindra XUV 500, or rear wheel drive. Example, the Mahindra Scorpio, where the engine drives the rear set of wheels and the front wheels are used only for steering. Then what is 4x4? Simply put, the car has 4 wheels and the engine power is sent to all the 4 wheels. If this power is sent all the time, like always on, then it's called a full-time 4-wheel drive. Example, Toyota Fortuner full-time 4-wheel drive. If the power is normally sent to only one set of wheels, say the rear wheels, and on demand from the driver, it can be sent to the front wheels also, then it's called a part-time 4-wheel drive or an on-demand 4-wheel drive. Example, the Mahindra Thar or this Force Gurkha. So what's the difference and how does it work? Before you start crushing terrain on your 4x4, it is very important to understand how the system works. And so please watch this video fully, because I'm sure it will help you get better at off-roading, and it will also help you to understand your car better. Let's take my Gurkha. Let's go into X-ray mode to get a closer look of the mechanicals. We will look at the wheels and how power is delivered to the wheels. So the engine is the heart of the vehicle. The engine uses fuel, petrol or diesel, whatever you put into your tank, to make power. Well, strictly speaking, it makes torque. That is, it makes rotation of a shaft happen, right? So this goes through the gearbox, which is the set of gears you control with your stick shift, and the transmission. The transmission then attaches to the driven wheel's axles through propeller shafts, or let's simply call them drive shaft. So from engine to gearbox, transmission, then to the axles through drive shafts. In a 4x2, say rear wheel drive vehicle, the transmission only supplies torque to the rear wheels. However, it doesn't give it directly to each rear wheel. It instead gives it to something called a differential. What is this differential? It's a component that lets each wheel spin differentially, or simply lets each wheel spin at different speeds. Think of it as a box that takes torque from the drive shaft and distributes it differently to each wheel it's connected to. So, for example, in the rear wheel drive car, the torque is supplied only to the rear differential, and then in turn the differential splits the torque equally to the left and right rear wheel. Well, at least in theory, it is supposed to split the torque 50-50. In case the car is taking a turn, then the inner wheels would obviously spin slower than the outer wheels, right? Because the outer wheels need to travel a longer arc and a longer distance to complete the turn, right? So the differential is what lets this happen. If it didn't, it would be like a train wheel where both the wheels spin at the same speed, because train wheels follow the straight fixed train track. So that is the job of the differential. So the bottom line is that differential, or diffs if you want to sound cool, splits the torque between the two wheels it is in charge of. And now, why did I say in theory the split is equal? Because say 100 units of torque comes into the differential from the drive shaft, then the diff is supposed to give 50 to the left wheel and 50% to the right wheel. Well, it doesn't always do that. Differentials are by default open, which means that they are open to transfer torque as convenient to the wheel which is offering least resistance, just like water or electricity. The torque will simply flow or take the path of least resistance. That your right wheel has been lifted off the ground, it's hanging in air and it has no traction. The left wheel, however, is still on the ground and it has got some traction. Because the diff is open, the diff will simply divert most of the torque received from the engine to this free spinning right wheel, because that's the path of least resistance. But this is not what we want, because this will cause the wheel in the air to spin freely, while the left wheel, which actually can move us forward, cannot do much because it's not getting enough rotational torque from the open diffs. So, if in some way, if we could lock the open diff, then this differential action would be locked and the diff would not be able to do this partiality between the wheels, and then both the wheels would be forced to spin at the same speed. Remember the train wheels example? Like that. So if one wheel loses traction and the other wheel has some sort of grip, if by some way we could lock this diff, that can be done manually like in the Gurkha, or in some other cars it can be done by electronically by a dial, or sometimes it's even done automatically if slip is detected. However you achieve it, if the diff is locked, then this would force the wheel in air to not free spin, and the wheel on ground would grip and spin and move ahead, and we will be out of this situation easily. Big warning: whenever you lock the diffs, remember that the wheels cannot move at different speeds, right? So your inner wheels and outer wheels, in case you have to execute a turn, will not be able to spin differently. So strictly no turning, no steering input when your diffs are locked. Once you lock a diff, use it to drive out of this tricky situation straight ahead and quickly unlock the diff and open the diff again once you're out of it. So all this was the 4x2 mechanism, when the rear wheels are the only ones being driven. What happens in a 4x4? Well, in the 4x4 there is a similar diff in the forward also, which is called the front diff, which when supplied with torque does the same thing. When it is open, it splits the torque, and when locked, it does not allow slip between both the wheels. The next obvious question is, how do we send torque to the front diff? Well, in 4x4 vehicles, both the front and the rear drive shafts are connected by another box called the transfer case. The transfer case plays a double role. The first role is to connect the front diff also to the powertrain by clutching in the front drive shaft in addition to the rear drive shaft, so that when you demand a 4x2 vehicle to go into four-wheel drive, that is when you demand the engine torque to be sent to the front diff, The transfer case connects up the front drive shaft also. Such a demand or an action where the transfer case only transfers torque to the front drive shaft also is called 4H gearing. Until this point, the car was being run in 2H gearing because only two wheels were being driven using the torque modulated through the gearbox. In 4H, however, the torque is driving all the four wheels. The word high here indicates that we are using the existing set of gears in your gearbox, which are called high gears. When we slot the car into 4 low, then all of the 4 high events happen, but additionally the transfer case also does its second role. That is, it introduces another box with a lower set of gears to come into play. Think of it as the transfer casing having another gearbox inside with a lower range of gears. What this is going to do is multiply the torque that goes through it, because of mechanical advantage. So you're going to get better pull from the wheels because of more torque being supplied to them, but the vehicle will obviously be slower. This happens because the ratio of this torque multiplication, which is called transfer ratio, makes the drive shafts rotate slower than the transmission. Typically something like 1:2.488 or even lower depending on the vehicle and the transfer case in question. So you can imagine the magic of this. The drive shaft will rotate one turn fully only after the transmission shaft has rotated about 2.5 times. So this is going to make the wheels move very slowly and grip the surface like a leech. This is like the beast mode of the truck and is to be used wisely and sparingly. Well, when to use this, I'll talk about it later in the next part of the video. The last thing we will talk about is N, that is the neutral on the transfer case. This is not the neutral on your gearbox, but the neutral of the transfer case. This disengages and overrides all gears. It also overrides your transmission. So regardless of which gear you have slotted on your manual stick shift gearbox, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or even reverse, this transfer case neutral will disconnect and override everything. So your vehicle can move front or back because all drive shafts are disengaged and all wheels are free. It is something like a toy car mode. So you can just push the car front or back and all the wheels are free. It is meant, for example, for if your car is being towed, then you want all the wheels to spin freely, then that's when you put it into neutral. Otherwise, when your transfer case is on neutral, you can keep revving the engine, but the car is not going anywhere. Now that we know how it works, let's get into the truck and see the basics of driving a 4x4 and when to use which kind of gearing. So in the Gurkha, everything is manual, so you have got independent levers for operating each function. So this is the 4x4 lever which controls the transfer case. This is the manual gear lever which controls the gearbox transmission. And both the front and rear diffs which can be locked manually independently. Tip is to read your owner's manual. It has a wealth of information specific to your truck, and however little it may be, it's a gold mine. All vehicles are not built alike and only your owner's manual can tell you exactly how your vehicle works. Let's jump under the car and you can see the front diffs and the transfer case and the rear diffs. First is the 4x2 high range or the normal range, that is the 2 high, 2H range. This is the default mode of the car. This is what your car is normally at, 2H. You do not need to touch the transfer case at all. Just leave it as it is. It is meant for normal day-to-day driving on road, highways or even easy trails. Even slightly difficult trails can be easily handled in the 4x2 mode itself, that is in the 2 high mode itself, by vehicles like the Gurkha, as long as you have sufficient ground clearance and a good set of all-terrain or mud-terrain tires. Now we will see when to lock the differentials. The same scenario explained previously. The left wheel has got some traction, but the right wheel is in air and it's spinning freely. So all the torque is being diverted to the right wheel in air, so we are not moving forward. The Gurkha has both front and manual mechanically lockable diffs. So we just press the button, rotate the lever and pull it up to lock the diff for the particular pair of wheels. Once the diff is locked, both the wheels on the locked differential axle rotate together and you can easily wriggle out of the situation. Remember to drive straight, and once you're out of the mess, unlock the diffs and open them again as quickly as possible. You shift to 4x4 high range, that is 4H, by pushing this lever forward and an indication pops up on the dashboard. 4 high is for loose slippery terrain like sand or beach, where you want to maintain momentum and maintain higher speed. When there's no traction and you want to fly, use 4 high. From 4 high through neutral, you slot it down to 4 low. Indication again comes up on the dashboard. If you slot it back to neutral, the indication goes away. And 4 low, it again comes back. 4 low is where you want low range, that is when you want to go steady and slow, you slot 4 low. It's for water crossing or steep ascent or descent, where you want torque to be maximum, but you want the speed to be slow and steady, and you want maximum grip. That's what 4 low gives you. But the speed of the vehicle will be slow, but you will get a lot of traction. Another thing in vehicles like the Gurkha where 4 low really comes in handy is for a steep ascent or a descent. Then you slot the vehicle into 4 low and do nothing with the throttle or brake. Don't give accelerator or don't give brake. Slot it into gear and just let the vehicle do its own thing. It will slowly and steadily take you up or down. This particular climb is not that tricky and there is still sufficient traction, but if it was during the monsoons, this stretch is very bad. Therefore 4 low can really help you climb up this hill. Same way for descent. If you want a controlled descent, then slot the vehicle into 4 low, shift it to first gear and just let it come down on its own in a controlled manner. That's the end of the video, guys. Let me know in the comments below if you want to know anything else about 4-wheel driving.